Welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic, and to another episode of my series, Free on Facebook, which is a series of videos in which I find things for free, predominantly off Facebook Marketplace, and I show you how to repair them, repurpose them, and reuse them in another manner. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix a Whirlpool dryer that's not spinning. So this video is going to be applicable to any sort of dryer that has this type of filter on top. So if it's a Whirlpool, Maytag, Kenmore, this is definitely a video you want to watch, and definitely a repair you can do yourself. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Alright, so here's the dryer in question. The person said that it wasn't spinning. So, but I'm going to do my own quick test of it real quick, because I find that oftentimes people's diagnostics aren't correct. But for this one, what you can do to test it real quick is open up the door, push the lid switch with your hand, and then just hit the start. And we can see the drum is not spinning indeed. Alright, so let's fix this issue. I really like these types of dryers with the lint on top. Just because they're so easy to work on, and I also feel that this type of filter is really efficient in filtering out the lint. And obviously, you know, the heating elements in the back, and it's really easy to work on. Not like a Samsung where you have to disassemble, you know, the whole dryer just to get to the heating element. But anyways, if it's not spinning, first thing we're going to do is pull out the lint filter, set that aside for now, and we're going to undo the two screws at the top right here. So 1 and 2. Then what we're going to do is get a putty knife and stick it in about 1.5 inches from each side and push. At the same time, I also noticed that if you push from the back of the console, like forward this way, while you're pushing those clips, it'll help to lift this whole thing up. Let's see. It's about 1.5 inches right here. And that's one side up, and we'll do the same thing over here. There we go. That's up, and our problem is very apparent. Take a look at that. This dryer does not have a belt, so that will definitely prevent it from spinning. I may have one of these on hand, but I'm going to show you how to swap that out next. Alright, so before we can remove the door right here, we do need to take off the door switch connector. These things can be real stiff sometimes, so I just like to stick a screwdriver in there and see if I can't just... Well, that's not working, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to undo the two screws that hold in the door switch, and do it that way. Put this up, and then there's two screws down here. That we should just be able to pull out the door switch, because this thing, I've noticed on a lot of this is plastic. It's really hard and it just won't come out the connector. And we just set that to the side. After that, we're going to be removing these two 5/8 inch screws with a nut driver. We got one there, and we got one on the side of the door switch right there, right there. Then that should allow us to pull this thing up and out. So we got the door assembly off, and so we're going to come down here, and there's our belt. That's no surprise. There she is, broken. There's a lot of lint in there too. But so we won't have to worry about taking it off the idler pulley, so we should just be able to pull this drum up off. On some models, you may have to label what side is the front of the drum, which is the back. This one is quite apparent because the back has this lint seal right here, and the front doesn't. It's got it on the door. So sometimes on some of the models they both have it. So I'll write like front on this part right here. But yeah, so now we have access to the inside. I'm going to vacuum out everything. I'm going to show you how to swap out that belt. As I mentioned earlier, this is a perfect opportunity to vacuum up the entire inside of the dryer. I also like to take the back panel off and take the blower housing off as well and vacuum it up back here as well, but that's optional. I just figured that since it's already opened up, might as well clean it up. And another thing I like to do is I like to make sure that these rollers are moving freely and the shafts are clean, but that's not actually required of replacing the belt. I got an assistant here. So what we'll do is we'll slap on a new belt, and I'll link it in the description so you won't have trouble finding it. These belts are fairly universal among Whirlpool, Kenmore, Maytag products. All right, let's do it. So the first step of putting the belt back on is putting the idler pulley. This is how your idler pulley will look if your model is a little bit older, and if you have a little bit of a newer model, it would actually be like a wheel here. So don't freak out if you see like a half wheel looking thing. It's just how they design these things on the older models. So basically just put this idler pulley into the slot right here, and like so. And the belt tension will keep it up. After that, we're gonna get our belt. I was able to get one that's in good condition, and put it on the drum right here. You want to make sure the rib side is down, and then just kind of lift it up with the belt and push it on to the back over here. And then you want to kind of put the belt where it was marked on the drum, where the previous belt had marked the drum. So that's very good. And we've got the rib side down, and what we're just going to do is loop it around the idler pulley. Alright, so to loop it into the idler pulley, we're going to grab our belt right here. Our pulley is down here kind of in the slots, and we're going to get our belt, which is right here, loop it through the pulley like so, and onto the motor pulley, which is right here. So it's kind of like a process where you loop it through, you grab on the other end, and then you kind of push the let me see if I got it. Yeah, so loop it through, grab it on the other end, and just kind of push it back until you're onto the motor pulley right there. And then you can reposition the drum as well. And so, like so, it's repositioned, and it should look something like this. So that's how it should look. It's looped through the idler onto the motor pulley. Perfect. Alright, so after you've got the belt on, it's okay if the drum's sagging a bit, but what we're going to do is install the door. And basically how to do this is that on the dryer there's these little hooks on the back. Let's see if I can show you. They're right here, all the way down here, and they go into slots on the door. So if we pick up the door right here, we see these bottom pieces right here. That's where those hooks are going to go into. So what I like to do is I hook those in first, then kind of push this part onto the drum afterwards. But to each their own. I gotta do it like so, and then hook it from one side. Pick it up and drop it in there. There's one side, and we'll do the other. then we can just kind of position our drum a little bit. And the door is hooked on to the dryer right here. So this is a good time to see that our belt is where the old belt was. And so then after that, we're gonna go ahead and line up these holes right here and reinstall those 5/8 inch screws. To reattach our door switch. For some of you, it may be just a matter of plugging this in. For us, since it was so difficult to come out, we're gonna just open up the door here and slide this through that spot right there and just reattach it using the 2 screws from the front right here. That's how we kind of found a way around that plastic connector not coming off. Alright, so earlier you may have noticed this exhaust housing was missing in the video. It's because I had removed it to clean it. I just put it back in. That has no implications on how to change a dryer belt. I just removed it because I had the dryer open at the moment. So basically what we're going to do now is just bring this down and just clip it in its spot right there. You may have to move it down a little bit and then just push down. It should make a nice sound. There we go. And then after that, we'll just put the 2 screws back on the top right here. All right, so let's test this thing. We're gonna go ahead and do our little trick again. We're gonna open the door and push the lid switch right here, or the door switch, and hit start. And look at that. You guys spin. So this is a simple repair, and it should not be the cause for you to toss out your dryer, that's for sure. There's some coins in the bathroom that I just realized that's making a little bit of a noise. Has a penny right there, but I may have to take that off and take those out. But anyways, that is a repair that you can definitely do yourself and should not be the reason why your dryer ends out on the curb. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.